Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that's on a lot of people's minds, digital finance. Especially for families, trying to build for the future, it can honestly feel like you're walking through a minefield. So we're going to take a look at a new tool that's trying to be a guide through all that chaos.
Okay, so let's just get right to the big question, right? Is all this new digital economy stuff a real threat to your family's hard-earned savings? I mean, we all see the headlines about incredible opportunity, but the risks, they feel huge, and frankly, they're kind of scary. To really wrap our heads around why a new approach is even necessary, we've got to look at the world we're living in. The folks behind the app we're looking at today have a really interesting name for it. They call it Digital Babylon. And what's so great about this metaphor is how well it just fits. Think about it. Cryptocurrency, NFTs, AI trading, you name it. It's this place of massive innovation, huge potential wealth, but at the same time, it's just so confusing, right? It can be morally ambiguous, and for the average person, it is loaded with risk. So for a typical family, this digital Babylon throws up three huge roadblocks. First up, you've got the knowledge gap. I mean, the language they use feels like it's designed to keep you out. Then, there's the trust gap. You hear these stories constantly, scams, hacks, rug pulls, where people just vanish with the money. It makes everything feel unsafe. And last, the values gap. How do you even know if what you're investing in is, well, good? Okay, so that's a pretty scary picture, right? This digital Babylon. But let's shift gears and talk about the solution. The whole point of FaithVest isn't to be another risky bet in that crazy world. No, it's designed to be a guide for people who think of themselves as savers, not gamblers. And this simple phrase really says it all. I mean, it's right there in the name, the Coin Savers Trust. That's a statement, isn't it? This isn't about hitting the jackpot overnight or making some wild bet. The focus is completely on the basic principles of saving, security, stability, and building something that will last. And this is where you can really see that difference side by side. You've got the gambler's mindset over here, which is what so much of the crypto world runs on, high risk, short term, all speculation. But then you have the saver's mindset, which is what FaithVest is all about, security, long-term thinking, and stability. It's just a totally different game. So what does all this mean in practice? Well, the app wants to be your digital finance steward. And what that really means is it takes all this super complicated digital stuff and it breaks it down into options that are clear, easy to understand, and screened to make sure they're ethical. It's about making this new economy accessible to families who felt locked out. But look, none of this matters if you can't trust it, right? In a world that feels like it's just filled with scams, if you're going to build something for a family's long-term savings, you have to start from a place of absolute trust. So how do they do it? Well, FaithVest says they build that trust on four main pillars. First, using faith as a model for how they govern, basically holding everything to a higher ethical standard. Second, a huge focus on education, and we'll get back to that in a sec. Third, they use AI certification for accountability. Think of it as a way to prove that investments are what they say they are. And finally, like we've been saying, that laser focus on serving savers. I really want to stop on this point for a second because it's so important. Think about it. A scam only works if you don't know what's going on. So a platform that is committed to teaching you is actually building a shield for you. It's like education is one of its biggest safety features. An educated user is a protected user. It's as simple as that. Okay, so when you add all that up, what you get is a totally new option. A third way for families who feel like they're just stuck between a rock and a hard place.
And this is the choice that so many of us face, right? Option one, fearful rejection. You just stick your head in the sand and pretend digital finance doesn't exist, and you might miss out. Option two, naive participation. You jump in, don't really know what you're doing, and you get hurt. FaithVest is trying to be that third door. Informed, ethical engagement. You can get involved, but do it smartly.
So why does any of this matter for your family? Well, the goal here is way bigger than just investing. It's about building wealth that lasts for generations. It's about teaching your kids how to be smart with money. It's about supporting things you actually care about. And this is the big one, doing it all without feeling like you're selling out your values. It connects your money to your family's future.
So that leaves us with this one big question to think about. When you combine that focus on education, on ethics, and on long-term security, is this what the future of family finance looks like? It's definitely a fascinating idea, a possible map to help us all navigate that digital Babylon, and for sure, it's something worth keeping an eye on.